feel like.
Welcome to Life Lessons in Law with Lashonda. I'm your host, Lashonda Counsel Rogers. In each episode, we have authentic and entertaining conversations about the impact of the law on women. You can find this show on my website, www.thecounselfirm.com, and on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and more. Now, please join me in Life Lessons in Law with Lashonda. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Life Lessons in Law with Lashonda. Today, we have Mrs. Korey Albury with us. Hey, Korey.
Hi, Lashonda. Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. So, everyone, Korey is multifaceted here. So, she owns her own firm, Albury Law Group, and she's a mediator with Ziegler Mediation. So, we have a lot to talk about. So, if you don't mind, I'm just going to leap right in. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
So, let's talk about, first of all, Albury Law Group. What do you do? What's going on? And how are you helping people on that end of it?
Yeah, I love Albury Law Group. It's my baby. Okay.
Your baby.
I have been an attorney for 21 years at this point. I started doing defense work and now I do plaintiff's personal injury. Okay. And all that great experience from my past assists me in helping clients in my personal injury practice, which is Albury Law Group. Right. So we do primarily car accidents, but also slip and falls and things like that, premises liability cases. My past experience was wrongful death and catastrophic injury, but because it was insurance defense, it was every kind of claim, right? That insurance company would insure, and so it assists me to handle these cases very well. I have a wonderful team. We are definitely customer service oriented. We have a few paralegals, an attorney that worked with me, J. Sanders, and office manager that I call husband. Right. So we are a small powerhouse, right? And we do great work. We really believe in doing everything that we can to help clients. And since I know what the other side is looking for, it really helps.
Yeah, no, definitely. So what made you decide to leap from, I always call it the dark side, from the defense side to the plaintiff side?
Yeah. The thing is it's interesting. I actually enjoyed doing the defense work because I was able to argue in the Court of Appeals, handle federal trials, depositions all over the state of Georgia. It was good for me, but I always would, when I would take depositions of the plaintiffs, I wanted to be able to be on that side of the table and help those folks too, and it's difficult for a plaintiff because they don't know who they can trust or not trust. They get referrals from their friends. But I knew I had a heart for people and a heart to really do everything I could to help people, and that I wasn't motivated by money. I knew I could help if I was able to do the plaintiff's work. And so it was the right decision for me.
Got you. And so on top of running Albury Law Group, you are a mediator. So for people who may not know what a mediator does, what do you do as a mediator?
Absolutely. Sure. So mediation is quite frankly what I believe my whole career has culminated to do. And what we do as mediators is we assist parties resolve their cases. We make no decisions, but we facilitate a resolution. So what it looks like very generally is a plaintiff and her or his or her attorney will come into a room, a defense attorney and an assurance adjuster will come into a room, somebody with some decision-making authority. And then each party would give its side of how they see the case in a very amicable setting. And then we would separate. And I will then go back and forth between the parties, bringing information and many times, money to try to get the case resolved. It's a practice of patience, but what it does is allow for both sides to really give what they think matters in the case, but also to understand what their risks are if they go to trial. Instead of resolving it. So many times there are cases that have already been litigated. Most of the things have happened in the litigation and the people are ready for a resolution. And the beautiful thing is the parties make the decision as to whether they want to resolve it or not, if it's something that they could live with the resolution. So it's great.
Sure. And if I can interject, you are one of my favorite mediators.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I know I've probably never said that to you, but
Appreciate
let me tell you why.
it.
There are numerous reasons, but for one, and first and foremost, I feel like my clients seem to be very comfortable with you and they are confident in your abilities. I've had mediations where, we'll start out together as a group and the mediator will introduce his or herself. And then my client will then say to me in confidence, like, hey, do you think they're going to
Mhm.
really help us? Do they think, I mean, just things that make me feel or give me the impression that they're not confident in the mediator's abilities, or they don't feel like the mediator is really looking out a neutral per
Sure,
se, as
sure.
opposed to, yeah, they're saying this, but they work for the insurance company. Because
Mhm.
if you've not gone through this, you don't know
Right.
how it works. And I appreciate you being able to, I say, talk the lawyer talk, but then relate
Yeah,
to an everyday client because that's so important.
yeah.
That is so important. And so I do thank you for that. So anybody watching, listening,
Well, thank you,
you're
Lashonda. I really appreciate that vote of confidence. And I can't say enough how the two things that you just said that you just hit on are what I would think makes a great mediator. Number one, you have to have some trial experience. You have
sure.
to kind of know what the risks are to be able to tell the people what the risks are so they can, or not tell them, because I'm not telling them anybody anything, but I am asking questions. Do you think this venue would do well for you? Do you think that property damaged you? What do you think a jury would think about that? And I'm just very honest, and I love people. I really, it sounds so trite, right? But I
No,
do.
but it's real.
Each and every time I sit down in a mediation, I open my heart and I ask other people to do the same. But I say, who are these people? What do they
Mhm.
need? Because some people need the justice of what they feel is going to trial. So any number that I bring back is not going to matter. But some people need resolution and to be able to be done. And everybody is different, but everybody deserves the justice. So when I come, I try to make no judgments on anybody, no preconceived notions, and I truly try to help them and relate to them. And me being from Michigan, from right outside of Detroit, and then going to Emory, I've had experience all over the place. It really helps me to relate to all kinds of people, and it's very helpful. And I think people can see my heart when I'm talking to them and understand that I know what I'm talking about after all these years of experience as an attorney too.
Yeah. And the flip side of that, I appreciate your ability, and I can speak personally, to calm me down because I go in
Funny.
blazing. I'm
Yeah.
sitting here like, what? What's going on? Just I get
Yeah.
very passionate
Mhm.
about cases and my
That's fantastic.
clients.
And that's why you're so
And
good. Yeah. Yeah.
and you have a wonderful ability to just say, I hear what you're saying, and I know it is just like, all right, calm down.
Yeah.
Let's look at all of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's think about all of this. Let's think about this. Just calm
Yeah.
down.
Well, you
Just
know, the thing is
yeah.
too, is and I love that about you. I always have that you are going to advocate for your client, period, point blank, the end. You can't even help it. And I think it's amazing and beautiful and makes a fabulous attorney. I will say this though, working as a defense attorney, going back to that experience, and being the person who received summary judgments granted in my favor or getting defense verdicts, it helps me see the full picture sometimes. And I want for that client, the plaintiff, to get resolution. I want the defense to get resolution too, because I've also experienced where I've been able to get 6, 7 figure verdicts and the defendant doesn't feel so great either had they mitigated their risks. I truly believe that in mediation, there's many times, and not all the times, but many times there's a point where everybody um, can live with the resolution and it's actually best for them, and it's
Right.
actually best for them. And so I try to get to that point if possible. If possible.
So, what advice would you give, say if there's an attorney who's never used a mediator before,
Mhm.
what should they look for in a
Yeah.
mediator?
Yeah, I'm going to usually always I'm going to, because I still have my personal injury practice.
Yeah.
I want somebody who has experience on both sides if they can.
Mhm.
It's not always possible. It's always not always necessary. Might have some
Right.
people who can truly be neutral without experience on both sides. And I don't think that it goes to the neutrality as much as it goes to just being able to see the full picture of both parties motivating factors, because I've just been on both sides. I know kind of, or have an idea of what they're looking for, and things that will actually help them make good decisions on getting the case done. So I would look for experience on both sides. And obviously that person who's relatable, and what other people say, other attorneys and colleagues will say, this person is relatable too. It doesn't matter how much if you can't connect with these people and explain to them that you're truly neutral and you want the best for them, and so that they can maybe listen to some of the things that you say, and also what their attorney is saying, because many
Mhm.
times you're not giving legal advice, but you are encouraging them to listen to their attorney. Because as a plaintiff's attorney, I know that sometimes plaintiffs, they have a hard go of it. They're really trying to trust
Mhm.
everyone, even their
Yeah.
attorney in that moment sometimes.
Yeah.
So I can assist with that too. So I would definitely look for somebody who can relate to folks with that experience on both sides, and just the trial experience as well. You just, it's wonderful to litigate. It's a whole other thing to try cases, and to see, a partner of mine once said, you got to look at the case at the end to do the right thing in the beginning. So if you have a mediator who's been all the way through to the end, they kind of know what things are going to come up. And at Ziegler Mediation, the attorneys that I work with there, the mediators that I work with there, they have experience on both sides, and they have 30 years of practice. The other ones, both of them too, Deborah Smearman and Chris Ziegler. So it's great. Yep.
Good. So speaking of which, so you're with Ziegler.
Mhm.
Why Ziegler? What attracted you to that
Sure.
particular mediation company?
Absolutely. It's interesting because Chris Ziegler said, Korey, why don't you come mediate? I'm like, I have a personal injury practice. It's going great. I love my clients. I'm great. I'm fine. And he said, I think he came to my firm open house when I moved locations, and he brought me some flowers, and he said, Korey, why don't you come? And the thing about it is, Chris and I worked together back in the day, and he knew me. He knew
Yes.
what I would bring to the table. He knew that I was personable, but he also knew that I kind of knew what I was doing, and that kind of thing. And I needed that. The good thing about the Ziegler mediation practice is that we all believe in each other. And so if I'm not available, they are, and they're going to give you the same great service. And I wanted to be in a place that was familial, because that's what I've created in my own law firm, Albury Law Group. And I wanted to continue to be in something like that. And also, what attracted me to that, and that this particular mediation group, is that they are affordable. I have litigated cases, and then mediated them. And
Yes.
the cost is so outstanding that sometimes it
Yes.
prevents mediation, and the client deserves a great mediation, regardless of the budget of the case, if that makes sense,
Sure.
of what the case
Sure.
can hold. And don't get me wrong, there are fantastic, there's a place for Henning, there's a place for Miles, there's a place for Bay.
Sure.
I believe that we give a beautiful resolution, and with great prices, and it makes sense for some of these lawsuits that really can't hold a $3,000, $4,000 mediation cost,
Yeah. Oh,
So,
no, definitely, definitely. Okay, so now let's get to a little more personal.
okay.
Um, few things. So you work with your husband.
I do.
What advice would you give for anyone that is working with their spouse?
Listen, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
Rob, he worked in corporate for a corporate job for 20 years, and it was
Yeah.
fantastic. And much like many other people, the pandemic made you really think about, what do you really want in life. And we felt it brought us closer together, our family.
Okay.
We didn't want to be apart anymore. And he also has these executive skills. I'm a small business owner, right? But
Yeah.
he has this big corporate best practices. You need to do this. You need to market. He did things. He had a lot to bring to the table, and we wanted to be together too. That said, we're not always in the same space, physical space all the
Right.
time. We definitely have his office and my office in the same office building, but many times he'll work from home. I would say this to anybody who wants to do it: remember what the other person brings to the table and don't take it for granted. Give them the same grace that you would give to anybody else that works with you. Because sometimes I want to be like, Rob, da 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 da. But wait a minute, would you do that if it was somebody else? If it was an attorney that works with you or a paralegal, you would give them grace and you would explain. And he does the same for me. And when we sit there and we think about how blessed we are, how grateful we are to be able to work together, I think that remembrance allows us to say, okay, let's be good to each other. And it just is wonderful, and it works, and it allows us to do better for our children because we have more flexibility.
So do you all have any types of boundaries regarding, okay, when does work stop?
That's a great
Because
That's a great question.
your spouse is
That's-
with you at work and they're with you at home.
Yeah.
How do you cut it off?
That's a great question. Even last night, he said, hey, I need to talk to you about this. And I said, is it about a case? And he said, yes. I said, and he said, okay. And he just stopped because he knew I have my capacity, and then he won't get the answer he needs. It'll just be, it'll just be me kind of coming up with something. It won't be my best work, my best self. So he'll stop. That said, we went on a date, yay, last weekend. And we talked with the children, the kids, we talking about, and then we started talking about work. And I said, this okay? And he said, yeah, it's okay. Of course, and it was fine. But I think we just check in with each other to make sure it's okay. There's not a real hard boundary. It's just hey, you heard me. I'm done for today. And we try. We realize, and he knows how hard I work. I know how hard he works. So we try to tune into that and think about it before we bring it up. But it comes up all the time.
I can imagine. I can imagine. So with the practice, Albury Law Group, Ziegler Mediation, how do you find time for you? Because I know that you love to work out. I see your pictures and I'm like, one day.
Oh, yeah, right.
One day, can I at least do 1/100th of what you do fitness wise? Is it something that you just absolutely make a priority?
Absolutely.
How does it? Okay.
I just read a little meme. It says, if I don't take this time for myself, I actually, do you feel guilty about taking this time for yourself and away from your family? And I said, if I don't, I won't be as good of a mom or a wife as I could be. And I truly believe that. I believe that fitness is even better for your mental than your physical. And it just calms me down. Before I got into bodybuilding, I was a runner. So I've run a couple marathons and a couple half marathons, and just the release of it all allows me to kind of center myself. So even now I'm working out. I have a bodybuilding competition November 11th, Lee Haney Games. Yay. But after that, so I can have 2-a-day workouts. But after that, I'll come right back down to, a normal 4 or 5 times a week, which is, to me, good for my health. And I think it's setting a good example. I worry sometimes because I have a little girl and I have a son, but I want to make sure that they have a good appreciation, a healthy appreciation for fitness. So I'm thoughtful about it, but I do think it's good for them to see that they can do anything they put their mind to, physically, mentally, spiritually, anything. So I think it's good, and I love it. I just truly love it, the challenge of it all.
So are you one of those like 4 a.m. workouter? Well, I guess right now, if you're doing 2-a-days, what's the schedule looking like?
So usually, and I'm mindful of family always. So I try to get up, and I wake up now and not until 5. And then I get to the gym and I'm home by the time they're getting ready for school. So I can be home by like 6:37. Even as late as 7:30, because then I can still take my daughter to school and get my son off to the bus. My husband does a lot, though. He does a whole lot. And that's what's fantastic about our relationship. But I usually work out in the morning and get it done, because that way you don't have to worry about whether you're too tired, because we know as attorneys, it's a lot of work, and everybody, it's all relative, right? So it's sometimes you're tired to work out. And so I like to get it in the morning. Now, because of the competition, it is twice a day. But again, I'm trying to do it before everyone is home and running really, and they need my attention and that kind of thing.
Got you. I had a funny story, and this is so not related. One day I was on the internet and I pulled up a picture of you, and you had done the big chop for your hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh,
was it one of those, because sometimes you read like, I need these hair vibes to be gone. I need new this. I need that. What was the inspiration for that?
I have been natural since
Yeah.
I was 30. I'm 46 now. I don't care about telling my age. But I had never worn it natural. I've tried a couple
Okay.
times, but I just wasn't committed. And I'm one of these people who love diversity of hair. I like to wear curly, I
Yeah.
like to wear straight out. You'll find me in braids or a wig, anything. But my mom cut her hair off the year prior, and I realized that I would never get the look that I wanted without cutting mine because it was curly and then straight from all the
Oh, yes.
from all of the over processing and the straightening too much, right? And I just said, you know what? Just if I can't do the look that I want, then just cut it off. It'll grow back. And if not, it's just hair, it'll be okay. That said, it's funny because I just said, you know what? I'm gonna really try and make it how I like it. And I have, interestingly enough, enjoyed the natural process. I've enjoyed having it short, and now it's grown out, and I'm even enjoying this. I'm interested to see what's going to happen next. The only downside is you don't know how you're going to look on any given day.
Okay.
Like I knew I was going to do this today, and I was like, maybe it'll be down, and I said, nope, it'll be up today, and it'll be just fine. And you have to be confident in the fact that you're bringing your best self, regardless if your hair is at its 100% best or whatever, however you show up. So I'm loving it. I'm glad I did it. I'm
Oh, and I mean, it is beautiful. Every time I see you and you have the different styles and this, I am almost convinced. Like, I am at that point that you were just talking about where I have so much heat damage
Mhm.
that have this curly, have
Yeah,
this straight.
yeah.
And so I've been trying to be patient with the braids and then, trying to let it grow out so
Mhm.
that I can get to your state without because I don't know if I can do the big chop. I guess I could,
You do it.
but
You'd be surprised. You'd be
the way
surprised.
my patience is set up,
Yeah.
I don't
Well, you
know.
know
I
you.
don't know. I don't know. But, it becomes such a thing. And I know everybody talks about this is, Black women with hair and this, that, and the other. And for a long time, I did not wear braids
Mm,
because I was like,
mm, mhm,
is that
mhm.
professional? And as
Yeah.
ignorant as it sounds,
No, I don't.
and I would admire other people's
Mhm,
braids,
mhm, mhm.
but I was like, well, no, I'm more of a straight hair kind of girl
Yeah.
type of,
No, I completely
and
get it. Even when I cut my hair off, I was like, when I was doing mediations, I was thinking, "Oh, when I show up, what are these people gonna think when I have
mhm,
my teeny weeny, or what are they gonna think when it's curly?" But then I said, it doesn't se you'd be surprised. People don't really care that much, as I
yeah,
thought that they would. They just kinda move forward. Now, it might be a little naive to think people don't care at all. I do think that they do, and it's a reason why we have our thoughts about it. But it is a beautiful thing to just show up as yourself, and I didn't know what I would look like, what my but now I have more days where I look in the mirror and say, I like what I see." And that didn't happen all the time. So I'm grateful, and I hope that my daughter will do whatever she wants. She'll see that you can just do whatever you want. And I think it's a blessing to have gotten to this place. It definitely was a journey, but I'm happy I'm here. Mhm.
yeah, no, that you make a good point because I often think about what am I showing my daughter.
Uh-huh.
I mean, because she has braids now. She's like, Mom, you always straighten your hair.
Oh
This, that, and
wow,
the other.
that's
Do
so
you not
smart.
like your hair? I was like, no, it's
Ooh,
not like that. It's more so
what I'm
I
used
like
to.
to get up and go and do this.
Mhm.
And so she definitely was one of the reasons why I decided,
I can.
I'm going to do braids
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
stay away from more of the straight styles because I could tell that it was affecting her.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
as mothers raising minority women,
That's
it's
right.
all, I'm always thinking, okay, how is she perceiving this? How is she perceiving that?
That's
Because
right.
I don't want her to fall into societal's image of what's beautiful and what's not. Because I
Mhm.
mean, it's hard enough out in this world anyway. And
Right,
I don't want to perpetuate that in my home.
right,
So I know
right.
soapbox for another day,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I totally get it.
Yep, absolutely. And the thing is I will go back and forth still, but I just want her to know that she is not just her hair. She's whatever she wants to be. So I try to show, I will wear this. I wear braids. I'll probably straighten it, sooner or later too. But I just want her to feel good. So we're at the same place. Yeah.
Got it. And unfortunately, Korey, it is time for us to be done.
Oh, I enjoyed it, Lashonda. I really did.
I hate it. Now, Korey, okay, tell all of our listeners, viewers, how they can find you.
Yes, absolutely. So websites, both my websites. One is Albury Law Group. So it's just spelled ALBURY, Law Group, spelled out.com. And the other one for mediations is Ziegler Mediation. It's spelled ZIEGLER mediation, spelled out.com. And you can schedule there. The calendar pops up and it's very simple. And again, the cost of it is very, very it's a great value. I'll say that, and so I really enjoyed it. And of course I'm on Instagram and all of that too, but Facebook. But thanks so much, Lashonda. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being our guest. And so everyone, if you find yourself in a position where you have to choose a mediator,
yay,
Korey is getting all my little fingers like thumbs up. This all of it approval, because I have seen Korey's amazing work, and I've had happy clients. And so if you want to be a happy client too, check out Korey. So thank you again, Korey, and to everyone, until next time, be good, and we'll see you later.
Yay. Thanks, Lashonda.
You've been tuning into Life Lessons in Law with Lashonda. In each episode, we have authentic and entertaining conversations about the impact of the law on women. I hope you'll join me each time. You can find this show on my website at www.thecounselfirm.com and on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and more. We appreciate your positive comments and reviews. And don't forget to share this show with others. I've been your host, Lashonda Counsel Rogers.